So one of the big surprises this year was Alan and Stephen Kendrick's The Forge, which was a film that I was on the fence about seeing. It isn't the type of film that I typically cover on the show. The reason that I hesitated to see the film in the first place is because it is what I guess you could consider to be a black film with a predominantly black cast, so on and so forth. And I usually avoid those like the plague because I'm a racist. No, not because I'm a racist, but because when you typically see black films, in my experience, there are a lot of tropes that I just don't enjoy. I don't enjoy seeing the stereotypical trope of being a gangster slash monster or being a sympathetic villain. I'm not saying these can't be good films. It's just I'm tired of the same tropes playing over and over again. Or, playing a slave or somebody having a meltdown about racism or the civil rights movement. And it's just over and over and over and over again. And what I've wanted for the longest time is to just see black people in films being regular people, not having to deal with racism or discrimination or, some sad bastard shit. And finally, I got to see it with this film, and I loved it. And it's a very simple story about a young man named Isaiah, who is about 19 years old, a year out of high school. He comes from a middle-class family. He's not in the hood or anything like that. He is living with his mother, who's a single parent. Having a bit of a difficult time with him because Isaiah is sort of directionless. He spends most of his time playing video games. He's not out there, and I found this refreshing, he's not out there trying to get a package or, he's dope dealing or gang banging or something like that. He just spends his time being an idiot, playing video games, shooting hoops with his friends, so on and so forth. He doesn't have a job. He's not going to college, though. So his mother gets really sick of this and basically puts some conditions on his continuing to live in the house by saying, if you're going to live here with me, you are going to get a job and start contributing to some of the bills around here. It's not an unreasonable request. So in his newfound quest to find some meaningful employment, he happens to stumble into the right place. And he meets a man who is the president of the company that he now works for, who actively works to mentor people in the ways of God, living according to Christian values, true Christian values. And you start to see, not without some stumbling, not without some setbacks, Isaiah began to quickly transform into who it seems that God intends for him to be. Now, Isaiah is a kid with resentments. He's got resentments against his father, who abandoned his family, abandoned his mother, abandoned him. He doesn't really know how to act in an appropriate way, like a gentleman, like a professional. He sort of, acts a bit like a street kid, even though he's really not. He's a middle-class kid, but he's caught up in the sort of rap culture, so on and so forth. And slowly he begins to shed these skins, so to speak, until the true person is revealed, who is, an imperfect person, who holds resentments, who holds anger, who holds frustration, that he's not exactly who he wants to be. We see in the beginning of the film that he strikes out a couple of times with things he attempts to do, including meeting a girl, because the girl's father's there and he doesn't know how to appropriately approach a young lady, which sort of brings the father into the forefront as the protector. But I just loved that this movie stayed away again from any of those typical tropes that we get into, and we get to see him develop into a man. This man who mentors him, his employer, his boss, the president of the company, also has a bit of a backstory, having suffered some trauma, which is a major loss in his family years ago. Really proves to be a person that puts their money where their mouth is when you realize the entirety of the backstory. I don't want to get into it too much because I want people to see this film. If you get a chance and you're looking for something that's a little different, this is definitely a film for you. And not only that, he has branched out to form a sort of men's club where people are there to meet every couple of weeks to support each other with what they're going through in life, something that you don't see happen in the lives of many men. Many men, as the quote goes, suffer lives of quiet desperation. And it's a very popular thing nowadays to say that, men have nobody to turn to. But here, they have a group of active professional men who meet over dinner, talk over what's going on, talk over what they think it is that God wants from them in this given situation, bringing in new people, perhaps young people, perhaps other, full-grown men who could use this sort of support and direction. We shouldn't forget also his mother, who is just a fantastic character in the movie. She decides to sort of, to quote, make a Godfather quote, go to the mattresses, but with prayer. She owns her own hair salon. And so she decides to call in prayer groups to pray for her son, to pray for her, who as a single mother has a difficult time trying to tell a 19-year-old how to be a man. That's not a simple thing. But all of the characters in here are just believable. They are inspiring. And they're just great. I loved this movie. Like I said, I was on the fence seeing it in the first place, but walked out of there saying, wow, that was a fantastic 2 hours. And it is a 2-hour movie. I would say that there is a part where towards the middle of the movie, I thought it dragged out a little bit, but then as it moved into the next act, just took off, and the last hour just kind of flew by as Isaiah begins not just to practice the principles that he's being taught, but actually takes an opportunity to lead in a situation where he's needed and really comes through and just does a fantastic job. You love to see movies like this. I wish they were making more of them. This movie, I'm going to give it 5 out of 5. It is playing right now at your local cinema. It might be one of those films that arrives on Angel Studios or the Angel app, where you got to see Jim Caviezel's Sound of Freedom, Sight, Cabrini, and those type of Christian faith films. But I've seen all of those films, and they were all fantastic. That's my video. Like this video. Leave a comment. Are you going to see it? Have you seen it? Are you not interested in seeing it? If not, why? Subscribe to the channel. We will see you all. I will see you all in the next video. All right, take care, everyone. God bless you. Have a good day.